Support for this podcast comes from Invent Together. I bet you didn't know that inventing activity by Black inventors peaked in 1899, and it has never recovered. Black and Hispanic college graduates patented half the rate of white college graduates. That's just one of the reasons why you need to know about Invent Together. When our patent system gets more diverse, our nation will get stronger and more successful. Find out how you can help diverse inventors and unleash economic opportunity at inventtogether.org.
Bird to your mother, it's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just a trio of feathery brethren weathering any season to see the Eagles eating teams like Scrammy's top with cheese. It's Philadelphia, Bo, Sheila, and Zach kicking it cooler than three penguins till Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some Birds with Friends. The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some Birds with Friends. Bo, Sheila, and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping their wings on.
How do you have time to consume all this content? You're listening to Dave Spadaro interviews.
I take a morning bike ride and I listen to
I want to hear more about that, but go ahead.
No, the Schuylkill Trail.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
yes,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birds with Friends on a Tuesday afternoon. After a week off and a couple weeks of pre-records before that, we are back, baby. Birds with Friends, Bo Wolf, Zach Berman, no Sheila Kapadia, Marissa Morris. Zach, how you doing? How's vacation? And how do you think Sheila's doing?
I'm doing well. Excited for this podcast. Have been looking forward to doing pods now for the past few weeks. I had a long driving trip the first week that we did not do a pod, and I spent a lot of time listening to podcasts
For a story that
trip.
will be coming out at some point.
Yes,
Just a little tease. Just a little
tease.
Just toss that out to the listeners.
Drove a long distance for a story and listened to podcasts along the way, including a number of hours. Have a lot of critiques of myself. Have a lot of things I've learned from other podcast hosts, including you and Sheila. So,
What are the critiques you have for me and Sheila?
you guys are great. You guys are
But-
no, not critiques critiques of myself that I learned.
No, I know,
from
but
you
I
guys.
want to know what the critiques you have of us are.
Oh, I didn't keep those notes, so
I cut you off too often?
People say that. I don't think so. I frankly think it's more conversational that way, right? Like if you're in
I think so too, but I mean,
conversation with
that's,
someone, you would cut them off. So
Yeah.
no, I think you guys speak well. I think you do much better with the microphone than I do. I need to, as it was explained to me like earlier on in my career, become one with the mic. I think I'm too far from the microphone sometimes. My voice trails off, so I need to be more cognizant of that. But
My voice
anyways,
trails off sometimes. It's less of a mic thing than just a bad habit of speaking. So that's something I could work on.
But I did not intend to deviate from your question. I'm doing well, excited for this podcast.
Nor from the septum, of course.
And Sheil, I imagine Sheil's doing well. His Instagram feed has kept us
Going
abreast.
bonkers. He got the Diana Rossini bump the other day, which is
that's
huge.
a good bump.
Yeah.
That's a good bump. And
Of
shout out to
course,
Marissa.
the
because
official national reporter of Birds with Friends.
Marissa, are we allowed to say, was the former producer for Diana? Is that correct?
I was her intern at
Intern.
NBC in Washington before she became a national reporter when she was covering the Washington football team. So yeah, I've known Diana for a long
do you have
time.
any good?
She's
Do you have any
great.
good stories for us?
No, she's awesome. I learned a lot from her. I got to go out in the fields a lot of different times when I was a junior in college. It was awesome. And I'm happy to see all of her success at ESPN.
Well said.
We're gonna have to get her on the podcast at some point.
Yeah, for sure. She's a Jersey girl too, so.
And she married an Eagles fan.
Yep.
A Birds with Friends listener.
Yep.
It must be a weird thing going through his mind listening to this part of the episode, don't you think?
Shout out to
What a-
Diana's husband.
What a trip he's going on right now. All right, well, we've got some stuff to get to. We're going to do the second annual Flit Squad draft between Zach and me, in which we draft the current Eagles roster, and Zach will run us through the rules in a bit. Of course, this is something we're doing for the second year in a row. It's a very original idea. So that's all good stuff, right, Zach?
Yes, we did this last year. We're doing it again. We are not picking off anyone else's ideas.
It's proprietary, I would say.
Yeah, we have very specific rules as we will get to. So this is a Birds with Friends exclusive type draft.
That's
this
good.
This is not like doing the Mount Rushmores during the summer. Like, this is a very specific Birds with Friends draft.
Now, do we have some Eagles news that came out today that we should get to before we get into the proceedings?
Sure. Should I do it as the newsman, or should I just...
You should do it however you want to do it.
Okay.
It's your world, baby.
The Eagles will hold joint practices with the New England Patriots and the New York Jets this summer. The Patriots will visit Philadelphia for a Jalen Mills homecoming on August 16th and 17th. The Eagles will travel up to Central Jersey, I suppose we will call it, which is Florham Park. I was going to say North Jersey, but it's more central. I should have Marissa as the judge for that. On August 24th and 25th. So those are the open practices. Some key upcoming dates. On July 27th, so 2 weeks from yesterday, we are recording this on a Tuesday, 2 weeks from yesterday, the Eagles will report the training camp. Their first practice will be July 28th. That's 2 weeks from today. Their first public practice will be on the 8th of August. Preseason opener on the 12th against the Steelers. So we don't need to run down everything, but just the roster cut down day is to 53, I should say, is on August 31st.
It's coming up, Zach.
It is.
Training camp is coming up. I don't like it.
I do. I had a long call with somebody yesterday going over some
big
training
flex.
camp details, and I've already gone over some of the schedule stuff with my wife. Like I'm ready to get rolling here.
No, I'll take a few more weeks of vacation if that's okay with everybody. And you know what? We're doing the podcast every day during training camp. We know that you got plenty of content coming, so back off, right?
Yeah, we do have plenty of content coming.
Okay.
By all, if you, I don't think you should back off. You should demand that we produce quality content. But I can assure you, it is coming.
Just like winter. Okay. You know what I was thinking about? Sheil had the tweet the other day of like his favorite parts of vacation at his age. One thing he didn't mention, which I feel like is a favorite of mine, as you travel around, is like the conversation and the imagination of what it would be like to live in this place that you're vacationing. Do you have that?
And it's interesting you say that. I'm always one who, like, wherever we go, I'm like, this is great.
What would it be like to live here? Yeah.
I always think it would be great to live there. Like there's very seldom a place where I'm like, oh, I do not want to come back here.
I think that is like part of the fun of vacation is like imagining yourself if you lived in this place.
Because you only see it in doses as well, though, right? Like you don't see it unless you're there when it's raining the whole time. But if you're having the type of vacation where it's nice out, you're eating well, there are activities, like you can certainly see yourself there longer than that weekend or those 3 days, whatever it may be.
Let's say, Zach, that the higher ups at The Athletic come up with a radical idea in which every beat writer is going to change teams, and you have drawn the lucky number one slot in the draft. You get to pick which city you are moving your family to cover a new beat. What would it be?
I'm moving my family?
Unless you want to leave the family behind.
No. So that's I want to be in Philadelphia. This is where our home.
Well, I understand that, but that's the edict has come from down on high that you must move.
So that based on that, it would probably be one of the New York teams because you're still so close to family, right?
Okay.
Like even I'm still just up the turnpike and get down quickly,
or
you can say Baltimore,
cover a classy organization,
or it could be the Jets too, but. Baltimore or Washington would also fit that. But like if it was the type of thing where they needed me to go somewhere for a month to help out the coverage, right? So I'm not moving from my family, but I'm just
a little different. That's a little different. That's more of a vacation.
Okay. Then sign me up to cover Vegas.
I think we've probably had this discussion before.
I think our first year we did, yes.
Because I believe I remember Sheil just going back to Seattle.
And your answer?
That's a good question.
I think you said Washington because your brother was there, right?
Well, maybe. I don't want to live in Washington. If we're talking just like starting from scratch and not taking like family babysitting help into account, I think I'd probably do New Orleans.
Okay, that's great. It's a great place to visit. I don't know what it's like to live there. My brother went to college down there and he loved it. So,
Which brother is this?
my youngest brother, Nick.
Okay, shout out to Nick, an Osprey nominated brother, Nick Berman. We're gonna have to get to the Ospreys at some point before training camp. Time is running out. Okay, let's get to the Flit Squad draft. And Zach, I had forgotten this, and I went back to listen to the beginning of last year's episode because I wanted to remind myself of the rules and what was going on. And I had forgotten that you had been so excited about this draft. Mm-hmm. It was all you could think about for a month. You had set your big board, and 3 picks in, you just had an existential breakdown because I had outflanked you. So I'm hoping that we can do something similar again. Yeah,
because you did not necessarily go based on I guess I did not anticipate you proceeding the way you did. It's kind of like when you watch the baseball draft and they go under slot so their next pick could be higher,
which
right?
is so silly. Like, why do we have a draft where the point is not to just take the best player?
Says you, right? But,
well, I mean, yeah, it says anybody who thinks that things should be fair.
No, I'm saying that's what you did in the draft last year. You would box me out of certain positions, right? So it wasn't just take the best player. It was a lot of game theory. Yeah,
that's true.
But I did learn from last year, and I think that my picks hopefully will reflect that. That being said, I don't know what direction you will go, and so I might be right down to the course that I was in the previous drafts, and regretting it a few picks in. We will see.
3 yards in a cloud of dust is what you're all about, and the
fantasy football team is what you're on.
No, I was going to say like the air raid offense, I guess, is what I'm looking for. So, okay. Why don't you run us down the rules on the Flit Squad draft?
Sure. So we pick teams based on or from the player pool is the Eagles roster, with the exception of Jalen Hurts. He is the steady quarterback. So think of it, I imagine Bo was this way during recess growing up. Where
it's funny, you said that last year too.
Yes, where you're the quarterback, and so neither side has the advantage. So that will be Jalen Hurts' role. From there, we evaluate the roster. We use strategy. We use game theory. And we go with these rules. So Hurts is QB1 for both teams, and we draft 1 backup quarterback. The team is drafted to play for this coaching staff, which is a different wrinkle than last year because we're not totally sure on the schemes, right? So there is some projection there. And it's in their current scheme and against this year's schedule. Development throughout the season matters, but development beyond this season does not matter. So you don't.
The goal is to make the playoffs this year, or that's unlikely, but to have the best team possible for this year, and then the league folds after 2021.
Exactly. So it's a redraft league. It's not a dynasty league here, and it quite literally is a redraft league because we'll probably do this again next year.
Gotta get the content.
Yes, you're taking on the player's injury status as it's known on draft day. So today, for players such as Rodney McLeod, such as Landon Dickerson, you are considering their injury status, but it's not like it was last year when Brandon Brooks was already out for the year, right? So
we also did it. We also did it later in camp last year.
Exactly.
So there were injuries that had already popped up. Yeah.
And then a new wrinkle this year is you also factor in their contract status. So if you take Zach, well, I'll let you explain in a moment.
Well, let's talk about Ertz. I think it's an interesting thing because we could treat him as he's just on the roster and you get him. I think it's more fun or more realistic if we treat Ertz as if like his contract status is an injury, and there's a chance that if you draft him, you are expecting he's going to be on the team. Right. Okay. So if you draft him and the Eagles release him on the eve of training camp, it would be as if you don't get him on your team.
Got it. Okay. Now, if Sheil is the one judging us, he must take that into account, because sometimes you see Zach Ertz's name and
Sure.
you're accounting for one of the best tight ends of the past decade, but there is a significant variable there.
Now, I think this year's draft, I think we should do Sheil gets a vote, the fans get a vote. I say when we post the article version of this, we'll do a poll. The fans get a vote, and then the tie can be broken if there is a tie. I guess by me, the defending champion,
or by Marissa.
Okay.
And then the other thing, and this is important to mention, is you're at liberty to change a player's position within reason, right? So you can make Avonte Maddox your outside corner or your slot corner. You can play Nate Herbig at guard or center. Jack Driscoll can play guard or tackle. Same thing with Matt Pryor. Basically, their offensive line's versatile. I would say on your defensive line, you can probably have Milton Williams on the outside or the inside.
You can play Hakeem Butler at wide receiver if you want.
Yes, you can have. That's a good point.
Could you play Tyree Jackson at quarterback? Sure.
You could. He hasn't cut it in the NFL as a quarterback, but yeah, you could. I mean, if you really dislike Joe Flacco or Nick Mullins that much, you're only drafting one backup.
That does sound like a fun way to end it, actually.
Yeah, so that would be kind of an
over Joe
indictment.
Flacco.
And you can make Kerrigan an edge rusher or an outside linebacker, but what you can't do is you can't make Devontae Smith your cornerback. I don't know why you would do that, but
because you don't want to be able to box somebody
Exactly.
out. Like, for instance, if I have no receiver spots left and you do, I'm not going to just take JJ Arcega-Whiteside and put him at safety so you don't get him. Although not that I need to stop you from getting JJ.
And so to give you guys the full rundown of the roster, there's the backup quarterback, a running back, there are 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 offensive flexes, so those can be running back, wide receiver, or tight end, left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle, and an extra offensive lineman we are adding this year.
Exciting, but this is an exciting development in the second annual Flit Squad draft. We are adding a 6th offensive lineman spot. Everybody's very excited about this. Now we have even numbers, so it's not an uneven, rounded draft.
And then we have on defense a defensive end, defensive tackle, defensive end, an extra defensive lineman, can be either tackle or end, 2 linebackers, 3 corners, 2 safeties, and then either a safety or a linebacker. So you can decide if you want to be able to play base defense or if you want to bring one of those safeties into the box or have an extra safety, if you will. Or you could have a hybrid type, as I often like to have.
Well, there you go. Don't give away your draft board.
I will not. I was listening to a podcast recently with Brandon Brown, the Eagles director of player personnel, and he was talking about how
Good find.
it was. I'll give credit. It was Dave Spadero's podcast, and
Were you biking?
I was biking. A matter of fact, yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Bringing it full circle.
Yes, and he was talking about how everyone's looking for hybrid players, and I'm like, music to my ears right here, but my co-hosts might not like that.
Yeah. Tell me you can do everything, but you can't do anything. All right. Well, before we kick it off, as per tradition, it is up to Marissa to help us determine who will have the first pick, and now the picks will go 1, 2, 3, and then from there just ping pong back between 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, a lot of pressure. All right. From the start of training camp pods last year to the episode where Doug Peterson was fired, how many Birds with Friends episodes were there?
Oh, what a good question.
This from the start of training camp?
From the first training camp episode to the episode Doug was fired, and including those 2 episodes. So including training camp episode 1 and the Doug fired episode. Now, no cheating. No cheating.
Now, are we doing?
I don't have a calculator in front of me. I'm doing
closest to the number.
Yes.
Or you can
either
go
way,
right? Just
okay. Closest to, so even if you're
now,
over.
we should separately slack you.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I put some
let me
music
think
in
here. I'm thinking 4, 12, 24, 36, 48, plus the training camp, which is a lot. Okay. I'm gonna send you my number.
Okay.
This is great listening.
All right. Zach,
And-
where's your number?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you mine. I'm gonna pick a round number. I imagine
You can just say it since I've already sent her mine.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go with 100.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. So
I said 67.
Okay.
the correct answer is 60.
Ooh.
Oh, pretty close.
So hold
Bo
on. Here.
wins.
We had 4 episodes a
Three
week.
3 episodes a week.
3 episodes a week.
Okay. All right. That was where I messed up. All
That'll do it.
I was doing.
That'll do it.
I was doing
that
3
multiplier.
I was doing 3+ game
Yeah.
day. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
All right. So I will choose to have picks 2 and 3, and let you go first, Zach.
Okay. So I will have pick 1. Did we? So wait a second. We would have. We've always done 3 a week. That was foolish of me. Sorry about that.
Post game pod.
Yep.
Wednesday and Friday.
Wednesday and
and
Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Got it. Okay. Sorry about that. It's so much fun.
I have to like remind myself of like what the beats are of the podcast to begin with. So.
So my logic here.
What are you thinking? Where's the biggest delta?
Yeah,
This is huge.
I'm looking at the delta. So I'm not going with the best player on the team per se, but I'm looking at the delta, and there were 2 spots that really stood out to me, and I'm going go bold here. I'm going Devontae Smith
Wow.
with my number 1 overall pick. Because now perhaps I am guilty of I don't want to say
classic Eagles
yeah,
overreaction.
I mean, perhaps this is overcorrection, but I was really looking at 2 spots where I found a delta between one and the next guy, and frankly, I'm not sold on the rest of these wide receivers, and I don't want to be in a position
Nor should you
where I have. I think Devontae Smith is going to be a good player with more upside than good, and I'm going with Devontae Smith because I need that in my offense this year.
I think that is a crazy but defensible pick. I mean, I think it's nuts to look at the roster and think this is the best player.
Well, that's not how
Like,
I did it. Yes.
No,
Yes.
of course,
Okay.
of course. And I like, if you didn't take him, I probably would have taken him in the snake here. I think it's realistic. I mean, the guys behind him, there's nobody there who's exciting you. And if this team is going to be anything, it's gonna take Devontae Smith being good right away.
So we should say to our
bold. I tip
our
my
listeners,
cap, but I do think it is a bit of an overcorrection
fair enough.
by you.
I should say to our listeners, a key part of this exercise is to kind of ascertain the value of the players, because you're looking at spots where you have depth, where you don't have depth, and where you particularly need a player to excel.
Right. It's a way of figuring out who are the most valuable players on the roster, right? Yes. Which is part of why you were so excited about it last year.
Yes.
All right. Oh, man, I can't believe you're going to make me take a guy I do not like, but I'm going to have to do it. Okay. I'm going to go relatively chalk here. And I'm going to take Lane Johnson to begin with, even though there is tackle depth.
He was the number 1 pick last year.
He was the number 1 overall pick last year, and I think like last year we thought that the offensive line was incredibly shallow, and it sort of, I mean, it did maybe turn out that way, but now all those guys who played last year, it's all of a sudden very deep.
Exactly.
And so you can make a case that Lane Johnson is not worth this pick, but I will take it sort of for positional importance. And then this is a guy who, I mean, I do not
this
like
is my
this
other
pick.
number 1 pick, but
I do not like this. I think the player is extremely overrated and was a bad acquisition when it was made. But if you look at the roster, it's hard to argue that the delta between him and everybody else there is not like so significant. And so I will take Darius Slay.
good pick, because I was down to Devontae and Darius Slay, and part of my calculation was that I thought
I wasn't going to.
I thought there was a chance you might pass on
That's
Darius
smart.
Slay.
You play your opponent.
Yes,
You don't play
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that I tip my cap to you, because that's the right pick to make when you look at the Eagles roster, and I was kind of hoping that he would fall to me. I was
listen, I am a small man. I am not above doing that, but I'm also trying to win.
I was being Ben Sherrington here, and I was trying to go under slot in my first pick, so I could pull my number 2 guy in my next pick, but that did not happen. So I am up here, and I'm gonna go Fletcher Cox here. I think
okay.
I think that's important to have. And then
No, you don't get another pick.
Oh, okay. So
now we go one each.
Now we go one each. Okay.
From here on out. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that still the pick you want to make?
Yeah, that's the I need to at least get like a double down the middle, so or to the gap with perhaps something more. So yeah, give me Fletcher Cox.
Okay. I think that's interesting. I could start to squeeze you there. I'm gonna go. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy. As you said, we're factoring in development here, and the flip side to that is you're also factoring in, regression of these older players. I've got two 30+ guys in Lane and Darius Slay, and there are other guys who are good, but I don't want to have just an old team. And so who's a guy who can turn into a blue chip player? Well, it's a guy who's in a head-to-head training camp battle, and I'm calling him the winner right now. I'm taking Jordan Mailata.
Good pick.
I got my 2 tackles.
Good pick. So let's see here. Okay, I thought that I didn't think you were going to go in that direction, but you did. And so, you know what? I'm going to help out my quarterback in
you're
the passing
doing it.
game.
You're going reverse,
and I'm going with Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
So now I have
you're trying to do what I did last year. You're trying to squeeze.
And
me.
just to remind our listeners, if Zach Ertz is not on the roster then this season, then he is not on my team here. So I'm operating under the assumption Zach Ertz is not on my roster. You can gamble, and that will be a great value pick. But I know Dallas Goedert's going to be on the team, so give me Dallas Goedert here.
All right. Well, I think I think that was a good pick by you because you're forcing me to take a weapon here. I can't let you get them all and end up like you ended up last year. So you're sort of, by taking Goddard, you're guaranteeing you're going to get somebody else reasonable at the next pick. I'm gonna take Jalen Reagor here as the next off the board. I don't love it, but I need somebody.
Give me the. You see, there are guys that I like here who are among the best players in the team, but they're really deep positions, right? The Eagles have an imbalanced roster. Like they have some spots.
This is a good lesson in that. Yes.
Nonetheless, you need talent to win, and Brandon Brooks is among the best players in the NFL, or the best guards in the NFL. Give me Brandon Brooks as my right guard.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Because you've done that, I want to make sure that Brandon Brooks is not enough to give you a good offensive line. Whereas if he was playing with Jason Kelce, that's a good start. I'm going to take Jason Kelce away from you, and so I have Mailata, Lane Johnson, and Jason Kelce. I feel like I'm doing pretty well, and my offensive line is now guaranteed to be better than yours.
So what direction do I go here? I believe in building along the line of scrimmage. It pains me to look at your roster and you have 3 offensive linemen and I only have 1. But now the extra offensive line spot is a variable here because you can box me out at certain spots.
That's right.
That said, now
listen. You know what? The counterpoint here is that as you said, you're building a team for this coaching staff. So the job that Jeff Stoutland did last year is sort of a case that you could go light on the offensive line, because if Jeff Stoutland can get, passable play out of Matt Pryor, Nate Herbig, and Luke Juriga, then maybe you don't need to spend an early pick on those guys.
Well, yeah, you're right. But this is interesting here. Yeah, I need some help in this secondary. I'm going off the board here, but I'm gonna go with Anthony Harris. Give me the healthy starting safety.
Interesting.
Who he knows the scheme, so we have a new scheme here, and this is a guy who I'm confident can play in this scheme. I don't need to think about long term. 29 years old, doesn't matter. He's still in his prime. Good player, has versatility in that secondary. I don't have Darius Slay, but I feel very comfortable in Anthony Harris.
I think that's an interesting pick. I mean, there's certainly a drop off at safety for sure.
And the McLeod injury is a variable. So.
And
now, by the way, as I say that,
you
you could make Avonte Maddox a safety if you want. Now, the Eagles are thinner at cornerback than safety, so I don't know why one would want to do that. But if you think his best position is safety and you want to build this roster, you can do that.
I've been trying to cut down on the carbs, the sugar, the unhealthy food, trying to eat better, work out more, get ready for training camp so I can show up in the #best shape of my life. And I realized I basically can't eat any good cereals anymore. Well, that's what I thought. Then along came Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon, 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. It's only 140 calories a serving. Can't beat that. It is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. And now you can build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. Ooh, boy. That fruity. Delicious. Go to magicspoon.com/birds to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code BIRDS at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon, this is great, is so confident in their product. They're backing your purchase with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason at all, it looked at you funny, you don't like the taste of it in your mouth, you drop the box, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. And so it's a win-win. So remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/birds and use the code BIRDS to save $5 off. Thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this episode.
If dreams of vacations and enjoying the fun of life are turning back into a reality for you, don't let concerns over financial setbacks keep you from saying yes. Credit Karma helps keep your financial goals in check so you won't have to hit pause on a good time ahead. Starting something new can be nerve-wracking. Wouldn't you like to know beforehand whether it was going to work out or not? Credit Karma can give you more confidence before you make that decision. The beginning of any journey can feel daunting. You're not sure where you're heading or if it's in the right direction, and maybe you don't know exactly what to prepare for. Well, with Credit Karma, you can be more informed about what's ahead. Credit Karma's game-changing technology shows you tailored offers for credit cards and personal loans that you're more likely to be approved for, so you can apply with more confidence. They use your credit and other financial information to show you custom recommendations, whether you want cashback, travel rewards, or to consolidate debt. Credit Karma can help you find the offers that fit your goals. With a selection of options and approval odds, you have the power to make informed decisions. Credit Karma, apply with confidence. Go to creditkarma.com/theathletic to learn more and find offers tailored just for you. That's creditkarma.com/theathletic, or you can see your offers on the Credit Karma app. Apply with confidence today. Go to creditkarma.com/theathletic or the Credit Karma app.
I mean, this is interesting, right? Because there's the defensive line. There's
So many options.
5 good
Exactly.
players, 6 good players here who have a case to go, but they're so deep.
Exactly.
You know, do you want to be the first one to pull? And I could keep squeezing the offensive line. Really hurt you there. And then there's one other move I could make. Oh, this is tough. I can't believe it. No, I can't do that. I can't justify that. I'm going to do, good podcasting here. I'm going to take, this is a bit of a, no, I'm just going to take Brandon Graham. That's what I'm going to do.
Good solid pick.
I think that's a reasonable pick to make.
Good solid pick there.
I didn't think I was going to do that. I thought I was going to go a little bit bolder, but I'm just going to take Brandon Graham.
So Graham was going to be my pick there, but now I'm going to apply a little game theory here, and I'm going to go Javon Hargrave. Okay, I now have the Eagles' top 2 defensive tackles, and look, depending upon what you think of Milton Williams or Hassan Ridgeway, there's a drop off at that spot, right? They have more depth on the edge than the interior. So give me Javon Hargrave.
Okay. Well, then I'm just going to do it and take. I'm going to take Derek Barnett.
Fair enough. So you got 2 good edges there. Now that extra defensive line spot is an interesting one here because you could box me out, and I certainly don't.
You can do
want
the same
that.
to me and take Milton Williams.
Yeah, but I believe in edge rushing. So. Yeah, I gotta go with my guy Josh Sweat here. A little earlier than I had him on the board, but I
think you had to.
Yeah.
If you didn't do it, I was going to take
Sure.
him just to box you out.
Sure.
So you made the right move. That's too bad. I was hoping to really crush you there. Okay. Well, in that case, where can I make a move on you? I can make a move on you along the offensive line.
I didn't think you
And
would. Okay.
To do that, I'm gonna go a little bit off the board here because this player would give you some versatility. I'm taking Landon Dickerson.
You know what? I was gonna take Landon Dickerson 2 picks ago, and I wasn't sure on that. So that's a good pick because he could be your starter.
He's gonna be my right guard.
He's gonna be your right guard. That's a good pick there.
Well, I mean, for now, it could.
Sure.
I could take a Driscoll and move him to left guard, but yeah, he's starting at guard for me. So my offensive line is now Mailata, Kelsey, Dickerson, Lane Johnson. Yours is just Brendan Brooks.
This is not how I would build a team. I would not neglect offensive line as long as I am, but I can't believe you're going to keep stacking the offensive linemen here, and I need to rush the quarterback. All right, so I already have Josh Sweat, I already have Fletcher Cox, I already have Javon Hargrave. I'm going to finish my defensive line. Give me Ryan Kerrigan.
Okay. That I don't know if that was your best pick.
Okay. So you were not going to take Kerrigan there.
I was not going to take Kerrigan there.
You see, so let me just give my 30 seconds here, okay? Or my 15 seconds. My fear was that if you took Kerrigan, I don't have an edge rusher other than Josh Sweat. I don't know if Milton Williams is an edge rusher. I'm not ready to go with like Taron Jackson or something, you know. So so I think I strongly believe in rushing the quarterback, and I can't expose myself there. I see a lot of depth on my board on the offensive line. That defensive line board has fallen pretty quickly here. So I feel comfortable that I have 4 starting caliber offensive line. Oh, I'm sorry, defensive linemen.
Well, that's what you see. You know what I see?
What do you see?
I see Umalo.
Umalo?
You get it? I see Umalo. I'm taking Isaac Sayamalu.
Oh!
I'm completing my offensive line.
Jeez, all right, that hurts me now.
So
that hurts me. That's where I was going to go.
And now,
that's where I was going to go.
You are playing with last year's offensive line, except you've got Brandon Brooks.
Well, that's not true because I'm going to go.
You can have one guy. Yeah.
I'm going to go Andre Dillard. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could really box me out, and I wouldn't have a left tackle, right? I mean, I don't want to put Matt Pryor out there at left tackle. I don't want to put Jack Driscoll out there at left tackle. I don't have left tackle options other than Andre Dillard. And if I was just playing against like logic here, if I was playing against the computer, I would wait. But if we were doing this last year, I would wait because we added that extra offensive line spot this year. I'd be afraid that you would box me out of there. So
yeah, I probably would have taken Dillard. Not next, but I would have taken him.
You forced my hand. I should have gone Sayamalu over Kerrigan. I did not do that, and so I am going to go Andre Dillard. And I feel okay having Andre Dillard as my left tackle here. He's got something to prove.
Okay. I'm going to take a guy who's going to give me some flexibility. I can figure out exactly where he's going after the rest of the board fills out, but a starting caliber player to make sure that you don't have much there. I'm going to take Avonte Maddox.
Ooh. All right, that does hurt me there because now my cornerbacks.
So just to reset. Mm-hmm. My team right now, I have a real starting offensive line: Jordan Mailata, Isaac Sayamalu, Jason Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, and Lane Johnson. I have only Jalen Reagor on the outside. I have Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett on the defensive line, and Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox in the secondary. Zach has Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert as his weapons so far. He's got just Andre Dillard and Brandon Brooks on the offensive line. He's got a complete starting defensive line with Josh Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan, Fletcher Cox, and Javon Hargrave. And he's got Anthony Harris in the secondary.
So I know we don't value running backs on this podcast, but we're getting to the middle of the draft here, and I already have some juice on offense. Give me some more juice here, okay? Give me Miles Sanders. I
think that's a reasonable pick.
So now I have, in my opinion, the three top skill players, if you will: Miles Sanders, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert in this offense.
I think that's a very reasonable pick. And because of that, I need to have a little bit of some upside here. So I'm going to just bite the bullet, make sure you don't take him and box me out. I'm going to take Travis Fulgham on the outside. Smart. So I've got Fulgham and Reagor. Not necessarily striking fear in opposing secondaries, but that's okay. At least my quarterback's going to have time to throw, unlike yours.
That's true. So, I want some I can't neglect the offensive line, and that extra offensive line spot, it scares me knowing what you can do. So give me Jack Driscoll, because no matter how things shake out, he's going to have either a starting spot at left guard or at right tackle for me.
Okay, I think that's realistic. I was wondering if you were going to go even more off the board with somebody, but I think that's the right pick among the offensive linemen who are available. I'm going to do... I don't want to get... Would you do that? You could. You certainly could. I don't want to get... I'm going to take Milton Williams. I'm worried you're going to take Milton Williams, and I'm going to have Hassan Ridgeway and Marlon Tuipulotu as my starting defensive tackles. So I think Ridgeway's fine, but I'm going to make sure I get Milton.
So, you know what? Look, I believe in stopping the pass, and I do not like the way my secondary looks. That said, I can't imagine Howie Roseman's looking at his depth chart and likes the way his secondary looks. So that's probably one and the same here. And I mean, you could say all the corners, like it's a matter of taste at this point. but we do need to have 3 corners here. Could go safety. I was thinking that, but I need to have a starting corner, and give me Zach McPherson. That's higher than one would think. That's higher than he is on my overall board.
Just for the people who may not have this in front of them, the options at cornerback on the board right now are Zach McPherson, Michael Jacquet, Craig James, Josiah Scott, Kevon Seymour.
Yes.
And then there's even a couple other guys, but that's who we're talking about.
Yes. So Zach McPherson, look, he can play on the outside. There's some upside here. He's got a great first name. So give me Zach McPherson.
Okay. I'm going to respond to that by taking Rodney McLeod.
Good pick.
Who may or may not be ready for week 1. He says that he will be. I'll take him at his word. And my secondary is certainly in better shape than yours.
It is. Although
I could still, if I want to, slide Avante to safety if I take 2 more corners, but we'll see if that's what happens.
You could do that. So again, this has not gone the way I anticipated it going, but I am not displeased with how it's going, and I'm not going to force picks here. I know there's some spots that I am lighter on than I would like to be, so this is not how I would value the positions, but I'm also looking at the depth chart here. I think back to our March podcast, which was not in the podcasts that earned you the choice of the 2nd and 3rd overall pick. But the March podcast, when we picked, when we did the bracket of free agencies, what's the name for that?
That's Quackatology.
Quackatology, and I believe our Quackatology winner was Eric Wilson. Is that correct?
Did he win?
Yeah,
what a good job by us, if that's correct.
Our listeners would have to help us out. Did he win?
He might have.
It was like a 3-hour podcast. We all supported the idea of them getting Eric Wilson.
Yes.
And so I think Eric Wilson is clearly the best linebacker on this roster.
No doubt about it.
We need to have 2 linebackers in our lineup here. So I feel confident that I have a good safety, a good linebacker. I like my defensive line, despite what you think of Ryan Kerrigan. And so
It's not nothing against Kerrigan. You opened me up for the Sayamalu pick.
Sure. So give me Eric Wilson here.
Okay. I think that's fine. He's definitely the best on paper of the linebackers. I'm gonna take a pick that's a little off the board, but I want some juice. And I like this guy maybe a little bit more than most people at this point, but I believe that Quez Watkins can give me a little bit of juice on offense. I want some speed. I'm taking him to add some upside to my wide receiver group with Rager and Fulgham.
Fair enough. So let's see here. So you went McLeod. That would have been my pick here. I don't, this is a weird situation the Eagles are in at cornerback, right? Because this is a tough group to look at. I mean, I could say like Craig James or Michael Jacquet. I don't know. So it would behoove me to go with a situation where I do know. So do I just? Yeah, I'm just gonna play the board, okay? And when I say play the board, like I need to fill my depth chart. I need to look at my offensive line. You can box me out. I don't want you to do that. So give me Nate Herbig.
Okay.
He can be either my guard or my center here.
Can we calm down a little bit about Nate Herbig? Like, he was solid at times last year. He also mysteriously lost his job in the middle of the season.
He did. He did.
Let's not pretend like this guy is like a set in stone starter when they just drafted a guy in the 2nd round who they drafted to be the next interior offensive line starter. I think there's as good of a chance that Nate Herbig is not on the team this year than there is that he's going to be a 4-year starter.
But he does fit your. He's a young. He just turned 23 last week, right? So
yeah, I like Nate Herbig. But it feels like we're maybe getting
ahead of ourselves
over our britches.
I agree,
as they say.
I agree. So in this draft, he is and this shows you the Eagles' offensive line depth. He is the ninth
offensive lineman
taken. Yeah, which is a good.
Which I think is accurate. That's where he would be in the peck. That's like where he should be in the pecking order.
Exactly. And I will most likely, depending upon what you do, I will most likely make him my starting center.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You've got 2 options at guard and 1 option at center left. So that makes sense. Okay, what do I do here next? I could do that, but I did want to save that spot. I'm gonna make sure I have a little bit of competency to join my receiver group. So you've got the best receiver on paper, but I've got the next 4 now. I'm taking Greg Ward.
Okay, and you have a more balanced. You can play 11 personnel well, and I'm not sold on your outside.
Greg Ward
receiver.
is basically a tight end in terms of the routes he's running. So he's like my 12 personnel guy. So I'm now boxed out of receivers. I can't take any more receivers.
I'm glad you told me that because I was not thinking that way. So where do I go here? I look at my secondary and it concerns me, but there is depth.
It should.
Yeah, but as I've said, it should concern Howie Roseman as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Howie Roseman barely built a secondary for 1 team, let alone 2.
Yeah. So I like versatility on offense. I'm gonna go with Kenny Gainwell in one of my flex spots.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because he was a 50 catch running back at Memphis. I like that in Nick Sirianni's offense. He can flex these guys out. He talked on draft day about that Nyheim Hines role. Perhaps Gainwell can fill that in this offense. I can play Sanders and Gainwell together in like a in a 21 personnel. So yeah, I will go Kenny Gainwell here.
Okay. I want to take someone from the secondary, but I don't even know who among these guys is next on the order.
That was the way I was thinking as well.
Right, it's tough. Like, is Michael Jacquet a better pick than Craig James, or better than Josiah Scott, or Marcus Epps, or Kayvon Wallace? I'm gonna do. Why not? What I got to lose? I'm taking Michael Jacquet.
Okay, good pick. That's what I was going to say.
That is, I'm not sure that's a good pick, but it's something.
And now,
so my secondary right now is Slay, Maddox, Jacquet, and McLeod, and you've got just McPherson and Harris. And
so this is where the fact that you can play Maddox at safety forces me. I can't wait on this. So you know what? So I'm gonna go safety here, and this is a matter of taste, right? Like some people are Marcus Epps guys, some people are Elijah Riley guys, some people are Kayvon Wallace guys.
This is a matter of taste in a very specific niche. Yeah. There are not a lot of people who are having the Marcus Epps, Kayvon Wallace, Elijah Riley argument, but I appreciate it.
Andrew Adams is someone
Andrew
you
Adams
can't
did have a beard.
He's a competent player. But give me Kayvon Wallace. All right, I'm going to gamble on a little upside here.
That is not who I would have gone with.
I know that's not who you would have gone with, but it's my team here. He's playing next to Anthony Harris.
It is your team. That's true.
I got 2 Richmond guys at safety. Harris and Wallace can bond over being from that area. Good locker room guy. Or a winner, if you remember our draft coverage a year ago.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'd like to see him do one thing in the NFL first, but before anointing him as a Pro Bowler. But you and I disagree about that. All right. Well, I'm going to continue to box you out at corner then.
Ooh, okay. So you're playing Maddox at safety.
For now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
No, you have no choice.
No, I have to. If I'm taking a corner, I have to play him at safety. I'm fine with that. Well, the thing about my secondary, Zach, is that what I like is that it's interchangeable. All these guys can play anywhere. It's positionless. This is where the NFL is going. This is how you match multiple offenses. This is what, the vanguard of NFL defense is all about. So I'm going to take, which one do I take, though, is the question. Thereby guaranteeing you're going to have Kevon Seymour on your team. I'm going to have...
Well, that's not true. I mean, that's little.
That's not necessarily true.
That's some Levert Hill shade right there.
Yeah, that's true. It is Levert Hill shade. And Nate Meadors. I'm gonna take Josiah Scott over Craig James.
Okay, good pick. And he can play. He can play the slot for you.
Yeah, I need a guy who I know can play inside.
So now, for our listeners, I do not need to take a cornerback the rest of the way. Bo can still take a wide receiver because he has his offensive flex spots. So I can't sit.
No, I can't take. I've used both my offensive flex spots.
Oh, you have? Okay, I appreciate you telling me that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you.
We aim to be honest here.
Yes. So
I'll do the full reset. I've got Rager, Fulgham, Watkins, and Greg Ward. No running back, no tight end, no quarterback. And a 6th offensive lineman spot open. I have Brandon Graham, Milton Williams, and Derek Barnett. I need an extra defensive tackle and a defensive lineman. I have no linebackers. And then I have Darius Slay, Josiah Scott, Michael Jacquette, Rodney McLeod, Avonte Maddox with one extra safety/linebacker spot. You have no quarterback, no backup quarterback. Miles Sanders, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Kenny Gainwell. You need a receiver and another flex. You've got Andre Dillard, Nate Herbig, Brandon Brooks, Jack Driscoll. I guess that offensive line is not given it's coached by Jeff Statland. It could be worse. You do need a left guard and an extra offensive lineman. You've got a full starting defensive line with Sweat, Cox, Hargrave, and Kerrigan. You have one open spot there. You've got Eric Wilson at linebacker, and then McPherson, Harris, and Kayvon Wallace in the secondary with 2 corner spots and a safety/linebacker spot open.
Now, what is our understanding of LaRaven Clark's injury status?
Well, he tore his Achilles in December.
Yeah, so it's safe to think he's not going to be with this group this year. I mean,
I don't think he's going to be healthy to start the season for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I look at my offensive line here, and there are 2 candidates. Okay. There's one who you really like.
I think there's 3 candidates.
3 candidates, okay.
You could go Jariga.
You could. There's a guy you really like.
You could go Coyote Awashika.
There's a guy who has started for the Eagles before. And I'm referring, of course, to Sua Opeta, who was Bo's guy, and Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor's coming off. I mean, this time last year, Pryor stock was a little higher. Okay, but you know what? I'm not asking him to be my starting left tackle like they did at one point a year ago. I'm asking him to be my 5th offensive lineman. The only guys I have locked in are Brooks and Dillard. Herbig and Driscoll can move around. Well, I suppose not Herbig because I don't have another center here. But I'm going to go Matt Pryor right now to give me a 5th offensive lineman. I know you're an Opeta guy, but Pryor has shown me a little more in the NFL than Opeta has.
I can't believe you took Pryor over Opeta. That's outrageous. You just lost the draft. Okay.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Check out BetterHelp.com/BWF. Life is full of stressors. It doesn't matter who you are or what you have. Your life is probably stressful, whether it's relationships, jobs, children, family, whatever it may be. You may not be feeling down and out and depressed or like you're a total loss, but if your stress is high, your temper is shorter than usual, and even if you're starting to feel strain in any of your relationships, you could probably use the chance to unload. Unload the stress and get it out. Talk to someone who's completely unbiased about your life, someone who is not going to judge you or take sides on anything. When there are things you can't tell anyone or feel like you can't unload to family and friends and you need to unload it, that's what therapy can be. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Unload the stressors and get some unbiased feedback. You'd be surprised at what you can gain from it. See if it's for you. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Birds with Friends listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/BWF. That's BetterHelp.com/BWF. Today, many small business owners are busier than ever. Because they are focused on managing and growing their business, they can't always spend the time they wish they could on recruiting. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has made it easier to find and hire the best candidates for free. That's what you want, an opportunity to see what jobs are out there and to see who the best candidates are. LinkedIn Jobs does that for you. Get started by posting your job for free to reach LinkedIn's network of 740 million professionals. Fill out targeted screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified candidates with the experience, skills, and motivation you need. Then use simple tools to filter and prioritize the top candidates that you would like to interview. LinkedIn Jobs will help you hire the right person for your role. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your first job for free at linkedin.com/BWF. That's linkedin.com/BWF to post your first job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
There are not a lot of spots where we both need guys, or where there is much of a difference between the players available, but I will take Alex Singleton. I have no linebackers, so I might as well take Alex Singleton.
Okay, and because I don't have that offensive line depth that I would like, and because I was down to two guys last time, give me both of them. All right, I will take Sua Opeta here. And
how dare you?
And you know what?
I'm not drafting your children.
Pryor can be my sixth offensive lineman.
How dare you do that to me?
Right. So now I have a group of six guys who've played in the NFL before, who have started games. All right. Yeah. And look, they all know Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland can work with them. Opeta can play a few spots.
That is rude.
Yeah. I like this. I like what I did there.
Okay. Well, now I have to find a way to get you back somehow.
And I am off the board for offensive linemen, so Bo can wait on his offensive line.
Do you think Josiah Scott qualifies as a safety?
I don't know enough about Josiah Scott's game. I was thinking he can be outside or slot for you. I wasn't thinking him at safety, but perhaps. I mean, I wouldn't fight you on that one.
Within reason, we said, right? He could be a safety.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm moving him to safety and taking Craig James.
Oh, all right. That hurts. I shouldn't have said that was the case. I should not have said that was the case. Okay. So what's your secondary now?
So my secondary is Darius Slay, Rodney McLeod, Avonte Maddox, Craig James, Michael Jacquet, and Josiah Scott. Okay. And I cannot take anyone else in the secondary, but you have McPherson, Harris, and Wallace, and you've got two corner spots to fill.
Now, I can play Wallace in the slot if I want to.
Yeah, if you want to lose.
I mean, by the way, I just want our listeners to know this was and Marissa, you can roll the tape if you want. Both Bo and I agreed that I could wait on a corner until the end here. Okay, and then I take Opeta.
I thought we had a tacit agreement that you wouldn't take my third child, Sua Opeta.
And then
you did that, so I had to counter.
He pulls out Opeta. Okay, that was a bold move there. So my corners are not very good. I'm taking the Howie Roseman approach here. Okay. And I don't need to take, unless you pull off some shenanigans with, so.
Yeah, there's not a lot of spots where you need to take somebody.
Yeah, so I could, now, this is interesting, okay? I could go Richard Rodgers here and box you out of tight end, assuming Ertz is not going to be on the roster.
Right.
But then I'm, Then
you've only got Devontae Smith and whoever else is.
Yeah, then I'm basically playing 12 personnel with Devontae Smith.
You're playing like 22 personnel.
But with that said, my wide receivers aren't going to change regardless, right? So I'm playing against the board here. All right.
Correct.
Now the funny thing would be is if I took Hakeem Butler as one of my wide receivers, and then I have like 3 tight ends on the field. But I'm playing against. I want a versatile offense. Okay, so I have 2 different running backs now that I like. Give me Richard Rodgers because now you're forced to play. But you have no receivers now, Zach. Yeah, but I don't need to. Well, good point here because I do want to go 11 personnel. Can I take that pick back?
You can if you want to.
Yeah,
no, it hasn't been.
So I was
installed just yet.
Yeah. So am I focusing on hurting you, or am I focusing on my
the classic question? The
classic question. I could go a second linebacker here, but I really like is the delta with T.J. Edwards or Davion Taylor or Sean Bradley, like is it that significant?
Well, what's interesting to me is how far down would you have to go on linebackers with only 2021 in mind before you drafted Davion Taylor?
Well, you can just say give me speed, right?
But would he be where is he on your linebacker board? I think he's 6th for me. I think I'd rather play Jacoby Stevens this year.
Interesting.
Maybe that's crazy. Maybe that's a little too much.
So now the defensive ends, you got Taron Jackson, Joe Ostman. We don't know if Ostman's like a linebacker. You got Jannard Avery, who's got some pass rushing juice, if you want to call it that. I mean, they have depth at defensive tackle, but do I want to add Ridgeway and only have 2 edge rushers here? I know we're devoting a lot of time to something like this, but you know what? For that extra, I'm gonna go with Jannard Avery.
Interesting.
And
that's who I was gonna pick.
Okay, because I can use him as my extra defensive lineman now. If need be, he can be my second linebacker. I like versatility. He gives me versatility, so I'm going with Jannard Avery.
And you're taking someone for Jonathan Gannon.
Yes,
there's going to be a role in this defense for someone like that, and he's probably at the top of that pecking order with Ostman and Patrick Johnson.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're boxed out of defensive line, so I don't have to take anybody there.
Well, not necessarily, because I can always move Avery to linebacker.
Oh, okay. It's a bit of a weaselly move, but that's fine.
Says the person who moved Josiah Scott to safety.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So there aren't lots of places where I need somebody, where I can take someone who you can take. All right. I'll just take Dick Rod so you don't take him.
Okay.
So I have an actual tight end.